but today we're revisiting a key topic, abstraction. It's one of those concepts that shows up in almost every Java interview, whether you're a fresher or aiming for a lead role. Let's walk through practical questions with real-world examples to help you explain abstraction confidently. What does abstraction mean to you in Java?
It's about hiding internal details and exposing only what is necessary. For example, I expose a payment service interface to the rest of the system. It doesn't care if the payment goes through Stripe or Razorpay behind the scenes.
When do you prefer interfaces over abstract classes?
I use interfaces when I want to define a clean contract with multiple implementations. Like notification sender, it could be email, SMS, or push, all implementing the same interface.
And when is an abstract class more suitable?
When I need to share common logic. For example, I created a base handler abstract class that handles logging and error tracking. Then email handler and SMS handler extend it and focus only on message-specific logic.
How does abstraction help in scalable API design?
It keeps things flexible. I define interfaces like order service, and even if we switch from MySQL to MongoDB, the consumers don't need to change, the contract stays the same.
Can abstract classes have constructors?
Yes, and I use them to initialize shared fields like logger, config, or trace ID. It saves me from repeating setup code in every subclass.
How do you enforce contracts in microservices?
I define interfaces like inventory client and use feign or retrofit to bind them to REST endpoints. This ensures consistent method signatures across services.
Have you used multiple interfaces in a class?
Definitely. For example, user service might implement both auditable and cacheable. This lets me plug in logging and caching without mixing business logic.
What's your take on default methods in interfaces?
They are great for backward compatibility. I added a default validate method to payment gateway, so older implementations didn't break when we introduced new validation rules.
How would you design a plugin system using abstraction?
I define a plugin interface with methods like execute and get metadata. Each plugin implements it independently, and I can load them dynamically at runtime.
Can abstract classes implement interfaces?
Yes, I often use abstract classes like abstract consumer to implement message consumer and provide shared retry logic. Subclasses just handle message-specific parsing.
How does abstraction help in unit testing?
I mock interfaces like email sender or user repository. This lets me test business logic without hitting real systems, faster and more reliable tests.
Give me a payment system example using abstraction.
I define a payment processor interface with process payment. Then I have Stripe processor, PayPal processor, etc., each handling their own provider logic.
Why can't we instantiate abstract classes?
Because they are incomplete. They meant to be extended, like base controller. It defines shared logic, but actual endpoints come from subclasses.
How do you use abstraction in REST controllers?
I create base controller T with common methods like getById and delete, then user controller or order controller extended with domain-specific logic.
Can interfaces have private methods?
Yes, since Java 9, I use them to clean up default methods. For example, inside a default validate method, I might use a private log error helper to avoid repeating code.
How do you abstract retry logic?
I create an abstract class like retryable task. It has a method run with retry that handles retries and delays. Subclasses just override run with the actual task like sending an email or calling an API.
Can abstraction help with security enforcement?
Absolutely. I use an abstract class secure service with the method check access. All subclasses inherit this check so no one skips security.
What about caching?
I define a cache provider interface with get and put. Then I have Redis cache, in-memory cache, etc. Switching cache is just a config change, no code rewrite.
Can abstract classes have static methods?
Yes, I use them for utilities like pass.java or generate ID, shared across all subclasses without needing an instance.
How would you design a job scheduler with abstraction?
I'd create an abstract class like schedule job with run job and get schedule. Then clean up job, report job, etc. extend it with their own logic.
Can we extend multiple abstract classes?
No, Java doesn't allow that. That's why I use interfaces for cross-cutting concerns and abstract classes for shared logic.
How do you abstract logging?
I define a logger interface with methods like info and error. Then I have console logger, file logger, cloud logger, all interchangeable depending on the environment.
How do you design a validation framework with abstraction?
I define a validator interface with validate. Then I have user validator, order validator classes, each with domain-specific rules.
When would you refactor an interface into an abstract class?
When implementations start sharing logic, like if all report generators need format date and load template, I move them to an abstract base class.
That's all for the topic abstraction. Stay tuned for next trending interview questions on different topic. Thanks for watching channel Java Interview Revision.